Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom reviews. See by the title below, this is on, wait a minute, you must be thinking, that's gotta be wrong, right? Or maybe you do know already, but for those of you who don't and are wondering, why the hell do you have episode 4 of Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2? Episode 3 just came out this week, what are you doing? Are you crazy? No, I'm not. I thought the same thing and literally ended up checking today. You know, I knew Drifters had a new episode out, so I was going to go watch it. And then all of a sudden I saw Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2, Episode 4. This has got to be wrong, right? Episode 3 just came out. Go and check. Guess what? Yeah, Episode 4 is out. Why? I have no idea. I have literally no clue. If you guys do know why, feel free to comment below. I would love to know why. I'm kind of confused on why, you know, this episode came out today when episode 3 just came out like 2 days ago. No, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about, you know, at all. I love this episode. Happy that this episode came out. I was hyped. I was like, oh shit, so this really is the new episode. And literally it did not disappoint me. I was so, this episode literally was awesome. Of course, this is the conclusion to the whole arc. Pretty much, you know, this is a Dazai origins arc is what we end up, you know, finding out by the end of this episode. But overall, this arc, honestly, like, I loved the first season of Bungou Stray Dogs. It was really good. But in my opinion, this first arc, 4 episodes, was better than the first season. Honestly, I love this arc so far. I love the different feeling to it, the more darker theme that it had, and just seeing, you know, obviously, you know, awesome action in it, awesome drama and suspense going on. We get to see a new character, Otosaku, who is literally one of my favorite characters from watching this arc, after watching this arc. And literally it sucks because it really hits you in the feel strain, because you know he's gonna die. You know he's gonna die after episode 3. You know he's gonna go in, he's gonna kill, and it's probably gonna end with his death kind of thing. And guess what? That happens, and just because you know, it doesn't stop the feels from coming. I was literally like, no, come on, there's gotta be a way. He can survive, he can live, right? Please, come on. And like all these times with him saying like Dazai is his only friend, Dazai pretty much saying, you know, like, what's it called, when the boss was telling him like, you know, why are you going? There's really no reason for you to go, right? And he's like, well, the only reason is because, you know, he's my friend. And I was just like, oh man, poor Dazai. And you kind of figure out, and after seeing this, you know why Dazai ended up leaving the Port Mafia. And that was because of what Otosaku ended up saying. Is because, you know, pretty much Dazai is in the Port Mafia. We learn pretty much because he's trying to figure out a reason to live. Obviously, we see in the first season him constantly trying to kill himself and stuff like that, and that's why he's in the Port Mafia, to find a reason to live, thinking that if he's by the bloodshed and violence, then he will find that reason. Obviously, he himself knows that is wrong. That's not going to happen. Nothing can fill that void and everything. You know, that talk between him and Otosaku at the end was really emotional. Like, that was one of the craziest scenes. Like, that emotional scene. Like, we had some crazy scenes. We had the damn insane battle between Geed, whatever his name is, I forget, and Otosaku, which was like full on crazy, them predicting each other, like, and then like even that moment when both, you know, we have both forces on both sides coming in, and they're like they're practically a team. It seemed like they were in sync with each other, killing all of them. And oh my gosh, the soundtrack in this episode was literally my favorite, one of my favorite parts. It's hard to say what is my favorite part of this episode because there was so much good parts. Soundtrack was on point, the action was on point, just what was going on, the emotional feels was on point. There was so many things that was on point. That action scene when they were on sync with the opening song going off, I was literally so hyped. I was like, holy crap, this is crazy. This is literally the best action scene I have seen yet in Bungou Stray Dogs. And literally just the way it was choreographed was pure awesomeness. And it's just crazy to find out, obviously, all of this was orchestrated because of the Port Mafia boss. He wanted to get his hand on that, you know, gifted business permit, that the only way to get that was to, he's the one who invited Mimic. He's the one that ended up forcing, you know, them to give him a permit to take the, you know, Mimic out. And of course, he's willing to sacrifice. He was all along, he said that Otosaku is the only one that's able to take him out, and that's why he's able to take him out, die with him, of course, with his life. But in the end, they're able to get the permit, because like he said, as a leader of an organization, it's hard. Sometimes you have to do these kind of things, everything you can to save the organization, and that's what he did, thus pretty much killing Otosaku. But what I didn't really get in that part was he said that he believed that Otosaku was the only one that could do this. I don't believe that. The whole point that the guy said that, you know, he could pretty much predict his power, everyone, you know, next move, and that's why his power is so strong. Just like Otosaku, they have the same power. If you just send Dazai, he just uses no longer human, and the dude has no powers. Then you can kill him. I have no understanding. It doesn't make sense. I understand that they need it to go this way, obviously, because, you know, the emotional impact, and obviously because of what happens and what Otosaku says, that ends up making it so, you know, Dazai leaves the Port Mafia, because, you know, if you're gonna pick, if you don't really care, obviously, what's good or bad, and you're trying to figure out a way to live, you might as well join the good side. That's pretty much what he says, and that's why, you know, Dazai ends up going to join to the good side so he can save people, and that's where he pretty much changes because of Otosaku, and that's why it shows this episode, Otosaku, this whole arc actually, this is a Dazai origins arc, because it shows why Dazai ended up leaving the Port Mafia, something that honestly was one of the main things that I was wondering the whole time. And it's interesting to see and learn this new character that we got introduced in this season, Otosaku, and see the reasons on why he was, his importance, and it was actually him that ended up changing Dazai, you know, his opinion and his way of thinking, to end up joining, leaving the Port Mafia and joining, of course, you know, the detective agency and stuff. So it's pretty crazy to see all those kind of stuff go down, and I get that that needed to be done, but I really felt that Dazai could have just went there, used his power, and bam, they killed the guy, and that's it. That's done. The Port Mafia boss did not need to go and be a dick. Sure, he was doing it for his organization, to kind of understand that, you know, and stuff like that. And he's a Port Mafia boss. You know he's going to do, you know, criminal kind of stuff like that. But he didn't have to, you know, bring Mimic in. He had to bring Mimic in. That's the main thing. He didn't have to have Mimic go and kill those kids, thus making Otosaku go and kill him. Because literally, you have Dazai, the ultimate person to go against gifted people, because his power to take away their powers. So that is literally one thing in my head that I really do not understand why they couldn't just have Dazai do that. But whatever, if he ends up doing that, then this whole story is out the window. So I get it, I understand that part. But yeah, literally, the choreography during the action scene was insane. The soundtrack was insane. Putting the opening part in it, I always get so hyped up when an anime puts the opening song in like an action scene, and this one did not disappoint. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty awesome. And then of course, you know, the dialogue in this episode was literally on point. Learning all about these kind of stuff. You know, obviously, you know, the whole main thing about this, the episode title, and what, you know, Otosaku says, that people live to save themselves, and that really is true. And he even says it at the very end before he dies, that that is true, people do live to save themselves. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. We see, you know, Dazai going to the chief guy in charge of the special divisions or whatever, and ask for, you know, is there somewhere he can save someone after 2 weeks of, you know, leaving the Port Mafia and stuff. And even though, you know, after 2 years of laying low, he'll be able to join his agency, to which of course later on, 4 years later, we are thus back at where we left off in season 1. So now that is pretty much the end of the arc, pretty much the end of Dazai's origins arc. Honestly, this arc was literally my favorite, like, just arc period. I loved it way more than the first season, and I loved the first season. It was really good. I'm not saying the first season was bad, but I'm saying this arc was that good. Just the different feel of the darker theme was awesome. I really was interested in learning more about Dazai and his origins. We get that. We get to be introduced to this new character, Otosaku, who is honestly one of my favorite characters. Just to have him ripped away from us, which really sucks, but honestly, it was awesome. His ending was awesome. Seeing that he is the reason why, you know, Dazai leaves the Port Mafia was awesome to learn about. So far, honestly, a great start to the season. Awesome soundtrack so far. Animation and art is pretty damn good, on point. The story is awesome. It just gets me hyped up and ready to see finally the guild arc start and see, hopefully, since this arc was honestly in my opinion so awesome, that this next arc will be just as awesome, if not better. I'm definitely hyped up. I'm definitely excited to see everything go down now that we are back in the present, now that we are back with this, you know, with what we were super excited for after the first season ended. Now, I get that there will be some people that be like, no, the Dazai, you know, arc, this past arc was way better than the first season. Keep it at that. No, they can't keep it at that. The conclusion has already been finished. It's been done. And as much as I would love to see like more of it, it's done. It was good. I like the way it ended. I mean, sure, I wouldn't want Otosaku to die, but that's just how the story goes. And honestly, I am happy that, you know, the way it ended, the way the 4 episodes, in my opinion, was perfectly made. I'm not too sure if there was a lot of parts taken out from what the original source, but I thought it was a really good arc that really does a good job in pretty much hyping us up for this next arc, which is the arc that we were all hyped up in the first place. So yeah, that's all I really gotta say, guys. I'm definitely excited to see the next episodes, to see the new arc in action, to see how everything goes, to see if there's anything in this origin arc that will connect over into this new arc, obviously, you know, because they wouldn't just put that arc in without having some semblance of them connecting a few things here and there that will make, you know, some crazy sense, like, holy crap, that's just like what happened in this arc, you know. It's gonna be something like that. So I honestly cannot wait for that. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So hope you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like, and if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And yeah, I can't wait for next week's episode, unless they're gonna have another episode come out like super fast. I'm not too sure. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, feel free to comment below on that too as well, because I'm really interested in that. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So till next time, see ya.